The anticipation for Jimmy Butler's reunion with the Miami Heat was sky high. After all, what everyone expected was to see Butler's playoff mode in action with the Golden State Warriors. And what the fans got was a real wake-up call. The Warriors were completely dominated by the Heat, suffering a crushing defeat of 112-86. But what's even more interesting is that this result goes far beyond just a score. This loss could be a sign that Steve Kerr's team is in danger of seeing their season crumble, and the question remains, what does this mean for the Warriors' future? But wait, because this is just the beginning. What you might not know is that this victory for the Miami Heat is not just about the win itself, but about the turnaround it could signify for the NBA's trajectory this season. And I'm going to explain why. Let's start with what happened before the trade deadline. When the Warriors acquired Jimmy Butler, all eyes were on him. The trade seemed like the key to getting the San Francisco team out of the play-in zone and placing them among the top playoff contenders. And for a while, that's exactly what happened. Butler's arrival was like fuel for Steve Kerr's team, and the Warriors went on an incredible 12-game winning streak, putting the team back on track and shaking off the shadow of a crisis. But of course, the shine of that recovery faded when Stephen Curry got injured. Without their star player, the Warriors began facing difficulties, and this loss to the Heat is a very clear warning. The team can't rely only on Butler to move forward. Now, if the Warriors' situation was already complicated, the Heat's situation wasn't much better. Butler's departure was a huge blow to the team. Not only did he leave the squad at the most critical moment of the season, but his suspension for indiscipline caused him to miss crucial games at a time when the Heat were already in a negative phase. The Miami franchise faced one of the worst losing streaks in its history, 10 consecutive losses. This hadn't happened in over 15 years. The team sank in the Eastern Conference standings, and the big question was clear. Would the Heat have the strength to bounce back? But then, amid all the turmoil, Miami managed to take an important step in the fight for survival. By defeating the Warriors convincingly, the Heat not only ended their losing streak, but also reignited their hopes in the battle for a play-in spot. Now, with 31 wins in 72 games, the Heat has a new chance to fight for a place in the top 10, which would guarantee them a shot at the postseason. This brings us to a reflection. Could Curry's absence really be the deciding factor for the Warriors' future this season? Will his injury cause the team to collapse? Or is there enough strength for Butler and company to rise again without their main player? And on the other hand, does the Heat have what it takes to recover and become a strong team in the East again, even without Butler playing at his best? I want to know your opinion on this. Comment below and tell me, which team do you think will bounce back better? The Warriors, with Curry's return, or the Heat, with their fight to stabilize and try to make it to the playoffs? I'm curious to know what you think. The Portland Trail Blazers are at a crucial turning point and are determined to write a new chapter in their history. After the departure of one of the franchise's greatest pillars, the team now faces both a challenge and an opportunity to rebuild their identity, find new leaders, and ultimately reach stardom again. The focus is clear now. It's time to look to the future and ensure the team is well positioned for long-term success. Behind the scenes, the Blazers are exploring all possibilities in the trade market, seeking players who can not only deliver immediate results, but also prepare the team for continued growth in the years to come. The franchise understands the importance of mixing young talent with a strategic long-term vision, and this is exactly what they are attempting to do with an ambitious trade proposal with the Golden State Warriors. The proposed deal between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Golden State Warriors is a far-reaching move. It is a multifaceted trade aimed at benefiting both teams, but with an emphasis on Portland's long-term growth. The Blazers would acquire a young player with the potential to become a star, along with another emerging prospect who could add a new dimension to the roster. Additionally, the trade would include 2 valuable first-round draft picks, which would guarantee Portland important assets for future. These draft picks are crucial for a team rebuilding its foundation, offering the opportunity to add even more young talent to the roster. Meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors, a team focused on the present and the pursuit of more titles, would receive 2 promising players who have shown flashes of great skill. Both players have stood out in key areas, with one having a positive impact on both ends of court, while the other has shown significant offensive growth. However, as with any trade, there are risks involved, especially regarding the durability of some of these players, as one of them has faced recurring physical issues. Despite this, the trade offers the Warriors more depth and options to compete at a higher level in the coming seasons. At the core of this proposal is the addition of a player with a rare combination of size, skills, and potential to become an all-star. This player, with their raw talent, represents a significant upgrade compared to the current members of Portland's roster, and is exactly the type of asset the franchise needs to rebuild its identity. The goal is for this player to develop and become the leader of a new era for the Blazers, something the franchise believes is achievable with the right development and a solid coaching structure. Alongside them, the Blazers would also add another promising player who can contribute immediately on offense, while also developing into an elite defensive player. His versatility could be a huge asset for Portland, who is seeking offensive solutions to balance the roster still in search of stability. The value of these additions is not only immediate, but also long-term, with both players having the type of profile that can become an integral part of the team over time. Furthermore, the 2 first-round draft picks elevate the value of this trade, representing a commitment to the team's long-term growth. The draft is an essential component in building a championship team, and Portland is strategically positioning itself to access more young talent that could become the future of the franchise. For the Portland Trail Blazers, this trade is a reflection of the long-term vision the team is adopting. By combining young talent with a solid foundation of draft assets, the Blazers are laying the groundwork for a lasting future. The team knows that to compete in the NBA, it takes more than just one star player. It requires a cohesive team full of young talent and the potential to evolve over time. This deal could be the first step toward achieving that goal. At the same time, the trade is also an opportunity for the Warriors. While Golden State's focus is to secure more depth in its roster and strengthen the team in pursuit of more titles, the trade also presents a risk. The 2 prospects the Warriors would receive have shown good progress, but there are uncertainties, particularly regarding the durability of one of them. With recurring physical issues, the longevity of one of these players could be a point of concern. However, the bet on the present is clear. By acquiring these players, the Warriors are strengthening themselves for the upcoming seasons while still competing at a high level with their current roster. This trade is not just an analysis of names and stats, but also a strategic question of how each franchise views its future. For Portland, it's about taking an audacious step toward rebuilding and stardom. For Golden State, adding immediate depth reflects the relentless pursuit of another title, even with the risks involved. The proposed trade goes beyond simply acquiring players. For the Portland Trail Blazers, it represents a clear long-term strategy. By adding young players with great potential and securing draft picks for the coming years, Portland is positioning itself intelligently for the creation of a strong, dynamic, and eventually championship-caliber team. The Blazers are committed to balancing the immediate need for competitiveness with a vision of becoming a powerhouse in the future. The franchise is laying a solid foundation, a team that will not only succeed now, but will be sustainable in the years to come. Additionally, the arrival of these 2 players could impact the roster dynamic immediately. The Portland Trail Blazers have a unique opportunity to shape a new era around young talent, while strategically integrating these new players into the team. The blend of youth and existing experience could be the key for the Blazers to find their way back to NBA stardom. This trade also has significant implications for the future of both franchises. For the Portland Trail Blazers, the trade symbolizes a relentless search for a new identity and a new direction. The Blazers are determined to create a solid foundation for the next decade and beyond. The bet on young potential is clear, and the team's vision for the future has never been so focused. For the Golden State Warriors, this trade reflects a mentality of a team that is willing to do whatever it takes to maximize its chances of winning more titles while still having a championship contending roster. If the Warriors can successfully integrate these new players, the trade could be a winning move for the upcoming seasons. With these strategic moves, the Portland Trail Blazers and the Golden State Warriors are shaping the future of the NBA. For the Blazers, the path to stardom starts now, with young talent and a solid long-term plan. For the Warriors, the pursuit of more titles continues, with depth being the key to securing another championship opportunity. This trade marks the beginning of a new chapter in the history of both franchises.